Hey guys, welcome back to the Web Monkey Show. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. My name is Alex, and today I do have another Elementor special. Today I'm going to show you how you can create an appointment system on your Elementor website. Now to do this, we're going to make use of add-ons from CrocoBlock. If you don't know CrocoBlock, they are a development company that make add-ons for Elementor. And to do this, we're going to make use of two plugins. We do have the Jet Engine plugin with which you can create dynamic content. So in this case right now, your customers, they'll want to book appointments for particular kinds of services. With Jet Engine, you can create those services for your customers to book. And then of course, we do have the Jet Appointment plugin. The one thing though is that the Jet Appointment plugin itself is not available as a single purchase. You can get it in a set, and that set is going to be the multi-tool set, which is $69 for a whole year. But in addition to getting the Jet Engine and Jet Appointment add-ons, you will get access to Jet Elements, Jet Menu, Jet Block, Jet Tricks, Jet Reviews, and so much more. In fact, last year, I made a full tutorial on how to make use of the Jet Elements add-on. And you can see right here, these are many of the available elements you will get. So in my humble opinion, it's going to be a $69 well spent. You will get a lot of value for it. So don't worry, it's not just about the Jet Appointments or the Jet Engine. You're going to get a lot more value. So to demonstrate how these plugins would work, I'm going to jump over here to the whitehathackers.com. I don't know if you've seen this tutorial. It was the very first Elementor tutorial I ever released last year, January. And basically, this is a website for a company that specializes in security, in internet security. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create an appointment system where customers can come in and they can choose out of these three services. I have consultancy, analysis, and then prevention. They can choose one of these services to book an appointment for. Plus, they can also choose which of the experts in the team they want to have the consultation with, basically. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this tutorial. Two things to mention very quickly. I am an affiliate for CrocoBlock. So if you do find this tutorial useful and you want to buy the add-ons, please use my affiliate link in the description box below. And then you don't need Elementor Pro to do this. You don't. You're perfectly fine going with the free version of Elementor. So if you're worried about having to pay for Elementor Pro and then having to pay for CrocoBlock, don't worry about that. You don't have to pay for Elementor Pro. So that's it. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's get started. And just to give you a very quick description, down here where I do have services, I already have the consultancy, analysis, and prevention already created. So these three, I will be recreating them as actual custom post types called services. I'll show you how to do that. And then down here, I do have three members that will be providing these services. So the idea is that customers will book one of these services and then book one of these experts to provide the service to them. So we'll have Maurice, Chloe, and Stanley. I'll create them as experts. Now, like I said in the intro, you do need to have two plugins already installed, the Jet Engine plugin and then the Appointments plugin as well. The first thing we need to do though is to create the custom post types for services and then the experts. I'm going to come down here to Jet Engine. All right. And right off the bat, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down here to post types. We'll click in there. All right. So we're going to go ahead now and add the very first post type. So the post type name here is going to be services. And that's basically all I will need to do. Let's just go ahead and add that post type. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another post type. Come down here again to post types. Let's add a new one. And this one right now is going to be the experts, right? Let's go ahead, type in experts, add the post type. And there you go. All right. Now with the Jet Engine, you want to come down here, just go back to Jet Engine. And then over here, you want to make sure that the forms module is available. So go ahead, you tick this box, click on save. And there you go. All right. So we've created the experts custom post types. We also have the services custom post types as well. And we have integrated the form with Jet Engine. All right, I'm going to come down here to appointments right now, okay? And I'm going to click on setup down here. So the first thing we're going to have to do right now is to connect the post types we're going to be working with. So in this case right now, what is the post type for services? Well, it's going to be services, right? And then the providers, the people providing the service, I'm going to turn this on. And of course, we're going to choose experts as the providers, all right? Let's click on next. Now in here, you do have default tables that will be in the form, but I'm going to go ahead and add 2 extra columns. One would be the number. So basically the customer will have to provide their phone number, and then I will add another column, and this one is going to be, let's say, comments, for example. Maybe the customer wants to add some additional comments. So I've added those 2. Let's go ahead and hit next. Now in here, we'll have to add the default time slot length. How much time by default can customers book with the experts? So in this case right now, I'm going to go with 1 hour. That will be the default. Now in here, we can add the days when our experts will be available for appointments. So let's go with Monday, and we're going to start off from, let's say, 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. on Monday. Let's save that time. Let's come down here to Wednesday. Let's go with the same. Let's go with 9 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. as well for Wednesday. And then we'll go with Friday. Friday being Friday, well, let's say we'll go with 10 till, let's say 10 till 6. All right, it's the weekend. So let's go ahead and save that. And of course, in here, you can add your days off as well. Maybe it's the Easter holiday, Christmas holiday, stuff like that. You can come in here and simply add that if you want to. All right, let's go ahead and hit next. In here, we can integrate it with WooCommerce, and we're going to do that. We want customers to be able to pay for the appointments online. So let's go ahead now and turn that on. Now in here, you do have the option of having the plugin create a single service booking form or a sample page booking form. What this means here is the sample page booking form will be a form that will contain all the services and all the providers, or the experts in this case. You would want to include this kind of form on your general services page where you describe each service, and then they will have the form at the end where the customer can then choose the service and then the expert that they want. However, if I decided to create separate pages for each service, so in this case right now, I'll create a page specifically for consultancy where I'll describe in more detail what the consultancy service is all about. I'll create one for analysis, create another one for prevention. What's going to happen here is that I can choose to include the single service booking form for that specific service. So if they are on the consultancy page, the form they would see would only include the consultancy as a service. It will not include analysis or prevention. So that's how this one works. So I'll just go ahead and keep both of them on. Let's go ahead now and hit finish. And there you go. Awesome. We are set. I'm going to click go to plugin settings. This will open up a new page. We don't need to change anything in here. We've handled the working hours. Now over here where you have advanced, you do have the availability check by. You've got through all services or by each service. I'm going to go with through all services because it's easier. And now in here, you have this interesting option of hiding the setup wizard. What's going to happen here is that if you turn this on, right, it's turned on. If I come in here right now and refresh the page, you would notice that the setup link is no longer available. So this might be useful if you've built this site for a customer and you don't want the customer going around and making changes to the setup, all right? So to turn it back on, I'm just going to come down here to advanced and then turn these off. So that's that. And then tools, finally, you can choose to remove all dates from the excluded dates table. If you wanted to, this can help to save memory. So maybe once in a while, you might want to come in here and clear your cache. Okay, so at this point right now, the appointments is almost ready to go, but I'm going to click on the appointments link itself right here. Click on appointments, and let's see what we have over here. All right, as it is right now, you can see we don't have any appointments, and that's because no one has booked an appointment yet. Before we go ahead and begin to create the form, I'm going to come down here to experts. I'm going to go ahead now and add our expert. And the first expert I will add here would be, who's the first person? That's going to be Maurice Jones. Okay, so very easily, I'll come in here, add Maurice Jones. All right. Now take a look over here. On the right, you will now see access to the related services. So in here, I can begin to select which of our services Maurice Jones can provide. So I'm going to go with consultancy. Oh, I'm sorry. We haven't even created the services yet. Oh my gosh. Do forgive me. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and hit publish for Maurice Jones. And then I'm going to go ahead now and create Chloe and Stanley as experts as well. Okay, so as you can see right now, I have added Stanley and Chloe as experts. I'm going to come down here now and go to services and just repeat the process, but this time it's going to be for the actual services. So I'm going to go ahead now and add consultancy as the first service. But now, because we've already created experts, over here to the right, I can now begin to choose the experts that can provide this particular service. So I'm going to go with Maurice. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's come down here, click in here. Let's go with Maurice. All right, so Maurice and Chloe, this would be the two that can provide this particular service. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. So I'm going to go ahead now and add the two other services and then add the experts that can provide those services as well. All right, so I'm going to head to add analysis and prevention as the two other services with the experts that can provide those services. One more thing we need to do before we display the form would be to come down here to Jet Engine, go to Forms, and actually make the necessary changes. So in here, like I said, you have the static page and then you have the single service booking form. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to go with the static page booking form. Let's go ahead now and hit edit. So in here, like I said, by default, we already have the necessary fields filled out for us. But remember, we created two columns, one for the phone number and then one for comments. All right, so we'll go ahead now and add the field right in here. And then I'm going to click on the pen to edit the field. So it's this one's going to be number, and I will say phone underscore number, and then label will be number. Sorry, phone. Let's go with phone instead. I think that's more descriptive. So phone, it is going to be required, and we can leave all of this. Let's go ahead, apply the changes. We'll now go ahead and add another field. This one will be for the comments, right? So text is fine. The field type is going to be text. The field name will be comments, all right? So comments, and then label your comments. It doesn't have to be required, so we'll uncheck that. Apply the changes, and there you go. So now we can rearrange the fields we've created. So phone number should come after email, and then comments should come in just before the submit button. And now over here, where you have the insert appointment, I'm going to hit the pen right now to make some changes in here. So where you have the number field, now we have to align the column with that field. So number right now is going to go with phone number, and then comments will go with comments. For the WooCommerce price field, we can ignore that for now. Let's go ahead now and apply our changes. Update. And there you go. Awesome. We're ready to now display the form on our home page. Let's go out to the home page right now, and I'm going to refresh this page. All right, let's go ahead now and hit edit with Elementor. And because you do have the Jet Engine plugin already installed, there will be a special section specifically for the CocoBlock add-ons. And it's going to be down here where you have the listing elements. So let's do this. Like, I'm going to go ahead and just at the very bottom, let's go ahead now and add the form field, or the form element rather, form. We'll drop it in there. And then we can choose the form to go with, and it's going to be the static page booking form, because again, this is a general page where we'll have to show all the services, right? So we'll go ahead, add that one. And okay, so now you can see that the background is in black, well, because my page background color is black. So let me just quickly do this. I'm going to go over to the section itself, and I will change the background type to classic, and we'll just go with a color so we can see. Okay, there you go. All right, so going back to the forms element itself, if you go over to style, in here, of course, you can apply all the necessary styling changes that you want. And of course, where you have advanced, you can add the advanced effects as well. I'm just going to go ahead now and simply update. But there is one more thing we need to do, and that is to add the pricing to our services. And this is something I forgot to do. Do forgive me. To do this, I'm going to go back to the back end, and let's go straight to the services. So let's pick the analysis as an example. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit edit for the analysis. And then over here, where you have the price per slot, what you want to do is to simply go ahead and choose the price for this particular service. So in this case right now, let's go with $100, okay, for the hour. And now in here, this is the default specifically for this particular service analysis is going to be 1 hour. And now you also have the buffer time before slot and then buffer time after slot. This refers to how much time the expert or the provider would need before moving on to a new appointment. So in this case right now, you could go with the buffer time after the slot. So you might say the expert will need 30 minutes after each appointment has ended before they can go on to a new appointment. So that's how this would work. So $100 for the analysis. I'm going to go ahead now and simply update. So please go ahead and do the exact same thing for your other services as well. And now we are ready to show the form to our customer. So let me go ahead now and pretend to be a customer trying to book an appointment with one of the experts. Okay, so I'm over here on a different browser and I am a customer and I'd like to book an appointment. So let's come down in here and I do have the service. I'm going to go with the analysis and I'm going to go with, let's go with Maurice to be my analyst. And now we can choose the date. I'm going to go with the 15th of April. And then after choosing the date, and I can now come in here and choose the time slot. I like the mornings. I'm going to go with 9 to 10. Let me point out one thing though. By default, the chosen time slots, you might want to change the styling for them because by default, you can't actually see the time that you've chosen. So right now I've chosen 9 to 10, but it doesn't pop out. So you might want to make this maybe, red or green, depending on the background color that you have. Of course, you can do that with the styling options for your form element. I just thought I should mention that. Okay, I've chosen 9 to 10. Let me just click there again. The user email, I'm going to go with bobboo@gmail.com. Phone number is that one right there. Comments, just stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead now and hit book now. And of course, this will now go straight to the checkout page. Remember that the plugin automatically integrates with WooCommerce. So now Bob just needs to come in here and fill out his information. And of course, you can see it's £100 right there. And then he just needs to fill out his form and proceed to PayPal to make the payments. So that's exactly how the plugin works. Now, if you wanted to create separate pages for your services and then have the single forms for them specifically, what you need to do first of all is to integrate Elementor with your custom post types. So to do this, I'm going to go over to Elementor. I'll come down here to settings. And then here where you have post types, I'm going to go ahead now and hit experts and services. Let's go ahead, save the changes. And now we can edit the experts and services with Elementor. So I'm going to come down here now to services and let's go ahead and make a change to the analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the analysis page. And of course, now we can edit with Elementor. So I'm going to go ahead now, click on edit with Elementor. So basically, again, for your individual service pages, you can add all the necessary content describing what it's all about. But now take a look at this, okay? If I go over to the listing elements and I come in here and I drag the form right here, of course, for the form itself, I'm going to go ahead now and choose a single service booking form. And guess what? You no longer have, or rather, the customer will not have the chance to choose a different kind of service, because this is the analysis page. So ideally, if a customer is on the analysis page, they would want to book an analysis service. So that's why it's no longer provided in here. They'll just have to come in here, choose their email, and then of course choose the provider, the expert providing that particular analysis. So that's how you would create individual pages for your services and then include the single service form specifically for that particular kind of service. Don't forget that as your customers begin to book appointments, if you come down here to the appointments tab, you will see all of them. So as an example right here, you can see John Mock has booked. This is processing because we now need to approve, while these are on hold because these clients haven't actually completed the appointment. So to approve the appointment by Maurice Jones, by John Mock, I'm going to come over here to edit. All right. And then I can see all the details. Okay. His email, his phone number, the slot, his comments. He would like to talk about the project in more detail. Okay. I can come in here right now, switch from processing to completed, and then simply save. Now his appointment is booked. That's exactly how this would work. And finally, remember we talked about the time slots that are booked. They don't change in color. So if you really want to make it stand out, what you want to do is go over to the Style tab, come down here to Appointment Calendar, and then all the way down here where you have slots, where you have typography, switch from normal to active. All right, so switching to active now, you can then come in here and then change the color. Let's go with, let's say, white, for example. So now anytime a customer clicks on a time slot, you can now see it stands out from the rest. That's how you would make that CSS change. Well, there you have it. We've come to the end of today's tutorial on how to create appointments on your Elementor website using the CocoaBlock add-ons, Jet Engine, and Jet Appointments. If you like the video, of course, hit the like button, share the video with anyone whom you feel might benefit from it. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified when I upload a new tutorial. And of course, as a gentle reminder, if you're going to go ahead and buy the package, please do use my affiliate link in the description box below. Thank you so much. My name is Alex once again. Stay safe wherever you are, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.